in addition to this broad, generalized sense of, this whole planet is not safe in its own way, if there's any like specific events or feelings that feel particularly unsafe, or if it's more of a broad feeling.
I think from my, I think, with roots from my childhood of my mom just having a lot of anger, she just had a lot of anger and rage, and you just never knew like
Hmm.
when, like I mean, you could be doing nothing or you could just be doing something innocently, and her whole, like this whole rage would unfurl. So I think
Hmm.
that's really um, the components. And even, my mom has since passed, but, when I think about my relationship with my mom, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like afraid of her,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
afraid of her. And I think that's really where, um, I think where maybe a large part of this started,
Got it.
feeling
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. Let's try something here. Let's just take a breath and check in and see if it feels like there is a background, or maybe even not so background feeling in the body, a sort of habituated feeling of at any moment, I could be the receiver of rage or any kind of danger.
Yes, for
Okay,
sure. I feel like my nervous system has kind of been taught to be on high alert.
got it. Yeah. Do you feel any particular sensations in your body as you tune into this feeling?
Um, there's definitely like this nervousness of kind of
Hmm.
like not knowing when like the shoe's gonna drop, the other shoe's gonna drop, so to speak. Definitely like I definitely hold tension. I definitely hold, yeah, just on a regular day-to-day basis, I hold a lot of tension in my body.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Well, let's start with this and see where it takes us. So let's just say even though
Even though
it always feels
it always feels
like danger could happen at any moment.
like danger could happen at any moment,
Like I could be receiving rage
like I could be receiving rage,
or who knows what else.
or who knows what else.
And this was true for my body,
And this was true for my body,
being around my mom.
being around my mom.
And even though intellectually I know
And even though intellectually I know
that she's not in the room with me,
that she's not in the room with me,
there are plenty of at least
there are plenty of at least
equally dangerous things on this planet.
equally dangerous things on this planet.
So I'm on high alert for that.
So I'm on high alert for that.
And I choose to have compassion for where this comes from.
And I choose to have compassion for where this comes from,
So even though I'm on high alert,
even though I'm on high alert.
I had good reason to be then.
I had good reason to be then.
I truly didn't know
I truly didn't know
when and how it would come.
when and how it would come.
And there's plenty of things on this planet
And there's plenty of things on this planet
that could be argued as valid threats
that could be argued as valid threats
at any moment.
at any moment.
And I choose to honor and accept myself as best I can,
And I choose to honor and accept myself as best I can,
having to manage this all the time.
having to manage this all the time.
So even though I'm on a scary planet
Even though I'm on a scary planet
where you can be yelled at or screamed at
where you can be yelled at and screamed at
for literally no reason.
for literally no reason.
And I experienced this as a truth.
And I experience this as a truth.
So I've had to be prepared for a long time.
So I've had to be prepared for a long time.
And even though my mom's not around me anymore,
And even though my mom's not around me anymore,
there's all sorts of stuff that happens to people
there's all sorts of stuff that happens to people
for no real good reason.
for no real good reason.
So I need to be on guard.
So I need to be on guard.
I need to be prepared.
I need to be prepared.
And perhaps I feel this the most
And perhaps I feel this the most
when I'm about to lay down and become unconscious,
when I'm about to lay down and become unconscious,
which makes me super vulnerable.
which makes me super vulnerable.
And so I just choose to honor and accept what's going on here as best I can.
And so I choose to honor and accept what's going on here as best I can
And see if there might be ways
and see if there might be ways
to relax a bit
to relax a bit
without being irresponsible
without being irresponsible
or naive.
or naive.
Okay, and let's go through the points now. Say this tension in my body,
This tension in my body,
this sense of being on high alert.
this sense of being on high alert.
It's like a nervous feeling.
It's like a nervous feeling.
And why wouldn't I be nervous
And why wouldn't I be nervous
when, as a young kid,
when, as a young kid,
for no reason whatsoever,
for no reason whatsoever,
mom could start yelling and screaming?
mom could start yelling and screaming?
Who knows what she's going to do or say?
Who knows what she's going to do or say? And may I interject,
Absolutely.
real quick, even on her deathbed,
Hmm.
as an adult, she could still be like, she could still be that way.
Mm.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't due to the disease or the medications. Like that, like she could still, like that was I mean, obviously it was much worse as a kid, but unfortunately, she was like that to her dying day.
Mm. Yeah. So I even got verification
I even got verification
when I had adult awareness
when I had adult awareness
of just how intense her energy was.
of just how intense her energy was.
And so it's no wonder
And so it's no wonder
I perceive that as a very real threat.
I perceive that as a very real threat,
Allowing myself to appreciate
allowing myself to appreciate
just how intense that is as a child.
just how intense that is as a child.
Being yelled at is intense enough,
Being yelled at is intense enough,
but with that layer of intensity,
but with that layer of intensity,
with that layer of danger,
with that layer of danger,
and perhaps worst of all,
and perhaps worst of all,
it wasn't even based on
it wasn't even based on
me having done something really naughty
me having done something really naughty
or just clearly trying to get away with something.
or just clearly trying to get away with something.
So I had no sense of control,
So I had no sense of control,
no sense of safety.
no sense of safety.
I can't even regulate my behavior
I can't even regulate my behavior
in order to guarantee
in order to guarantee
I'm not going to be threatened.
I'm not going to be threatened.
So, of course, that's terrifying.
So, of course, that's terrifying.
And I want to do whatever I can right now
And I want to do whatever I can right now
to feel some support and space
to feel some support and space
that I might be able to apply
that I might be able to apply
to that young girl in that situation.
for that young girl in that situation.
And just let me know if you're able to access anything or if it's just very triggered and overwhelmed right now.
I can. I can.
Okay, great. Yeah. And what are you kind of seeing? Are you seeing her? Are you just sort of feeling a bigger energy or
In terms of the fight, flight, or freeze response, I just freeze, right? Because you just don't know where it's coming from. So it's
hmm
just a lot of like just feeling frozen and there's no one to like no one's intervening in the situation. It's just
exactly.
like I think even my dad was afraid of her anger, right? Like my
Yep.
dad, like everyone just kind of sat there and just like let her do her thing until she finally calmed down on her own.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's put our attention on that frozen response, the girl in
Okay.
that state, right? And let's see if we can just let her feel your presence,
Okay.
that you're there, and let's see if we can communicate in any way. Like, this wasn't right.
This wasn't right.
This isn't right what's happening to you.
This isn't right. What's happening to you?
This feeling that you have
This feeling that you have
that someone should be helping here,
that someone should be helping here.
or this just doesn't seem fair.
This doesn't seem fair.
I know I haven't been on this planet that long,
I know I haven't been on this planet that long,
but this innately feels wrong.
but this innately feels wrong.
And we want to let her know that she's correct.
And we want to let her know that she's correct.
That is not how it should be.
That is not how it should be.
And freezing was your only move.
And freezing was your only move.
I know you couldn't yell at your mom,
I know you couldn't yell at your mom
and you couldn't go live by yourself.
and you couldn't go live by yourself.
So you had to find a way through that.
So you had to find a way through that.
And I want to honor and validate
And I want to honor and validate
just how amazing it is you did that.
just how amazing it is that you did that.
You found a way to survive this unsafe world.
You found a way to survive this unsafe world.
And of course, this world is unsafe.
And of course, this world is unsafe
When your own mom is doing this,
when your own mom is doing this
and your own family's not helping out.
and your own family is not helping at all because they're all frozen too.
Yeah, yeah. So what hope is there?
So, what hope is there
But to just freeze and knuckle through it.
but to just freeze and knuckle through it?
And that was the truth.
And that was the truth.
And I'm honoring that.
And I'm honoring that.
And I just want to do my best
And I just want to do my best
to provide you a space
to provide you a space
where you truly do not have to fear
where you truly do not have to fear
that that anyone's going to yell or scream.
that anyone is going to yell or scream.
I want you to know that it's possible
I want you to know that it's possible
because I'm going to be the one to do that.
because I'm going to be the one to do that.
And now just kind of checking in with yourself and seeing if that feels accessible to you and if what I'm saying feels right to you.
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. So
Hmm.
now just kind of feeling into that space where you as the adult, you're just very clear, you're never going to just scream at this little kid. You would probably never scream at any kid for any reason, right?
Right.
And so just let yourself feel that okay, my mom was an adult, but I'm an adult. I am living example that it's possible to be an adult on this planet, right? And not interact that way. And so now kind of going back into the round and just saying, so as I feel into this,
As I feel into this,
and as I perhaps feel into
and as I perhaps feel into
the other people on this call,
the other people on this call,
perhaps other environments I've been in,
perhaps other environments that I've been in,
that that it does exist in the world,
that it does exist in the world,
places that are a little more safe.
places that are a little more safe.
I just want that to be felt as a possibility.
I just want that to be felt as a possibility.
I know there's a lot of danger in on this planet.
I know there's a lot of danger on this planet,
And so I'm not now saying
and so I'm not now saying
that we're super invincible
that we're super invincible
and we're just never going to protect ourselves.
and we're just never going to protect ourselves,
But I want to be exposed
but I want to be exposed
uh, in more and more depth
more and more depth
to what it feels like to be in an environment
to feel like what it's like to be in an environment
where it's okay to let my guard down ever so slightly,
where it's okay to let my guard down ever so slightly,
where I can get used to that feeling,
where I can get used to that feeling,
just little pieces at a time,
just little pieces at a time,
and start to recognize
and start to recognize
that when it's the right place and time,
that when it's the right place and time,
it actually supports my body.
it actually supports my body.
It actually supports my well-being
It actually supports my well-being
to to relax a bit.
to relax a bit.
It might actually help the cause
It might actually help the cause
of overall safety and protection
of overall safety and protection
if we get increasing moments
if we get increasing moments
where we can recharge a bit,
where we can recharge a bit,
where the guard can come down just a bit.
where the guard can come down just a bit.
And it's totally understandable
And it's totally understandable
that when I'm laying down at night,
that when I'm laying down at night,
the idea of going totally unconscious
the idea of going totally unconscious
might feel a bit extreme
might feel a bit extreme
to a nervous system always on guard.
to a nervous system always on guard.
So I'm not going to fight it
So I'm not going to fight it
or say I should be sleeping
or say I should be sleeping
or judge the part of me
or judge the part of me
that says I just don't want to sleep now.
that says that I don't want to sleep now.
I can tune into what that is.
I can tune in to what that is,
And maybe it doesn't feel safe.
and maybe it doesn't feel safe.
And in those moments,
And in those moments,
I can experiment being present,
I can experiment being present,
feeling into these little moments of safety,
feeling into these little moments of safety,
and being compassionate with that part of me.
and being compassionate with that part of me.
Those feelings of, I don't want to go to sleep.
Those feelings of, I don't want to go to sleep.
It's not safe to be that vulnerable.
It's not safe to be that vulnerable.
I can't keep track of things when I'm unconscious.
I can't keep track of things when I'm unconscious.
And say, yeah, I get it.
And say, yeah, I get it.
And I'll give myself whatever space and time I need,
And I'll give myself whatever space and time I need,
whatever resources I need,
whatever resources I need,
to help myself
to help myself,
to to find little pockets of safety,
to find little pockets of safety,
to help keep exposing my system
to help keep exposing my system,
to saying, yeah, she's not around me anymore.
to saying, yeah, she's not around me anymore.
That I'm in my own home
I'm in my own home
and I'm the adult now.
and I'm the adult now.
And while I may not be perfect,
While I may not be perfect,
I'm not going to start yelling and screaming and judging.
I'm not going to start yelling and screaming and judging.
So just starting with this internal relationship as best I can,
So just starting with this internal relationship as best I can,
understanding and supporting
understanding and supporting
that long learned behavior,
that long learned behavior,
that it's not safe to relax,
that it's not safe to relax,
not safe to let the guard down,
not safe to let the guard down,
and there's nothing more relaxed or vulnerable
and there is nothing more relaxed or vulnerable
than sleep.
than sleep.
So it's okay that it gets defensive.
It's okay that it gets defensive,
Just allowing myself to deepen this relationship
just allowing myself to deepen this relationship,
and explore more and more ways
explore more and more ways
that it can begin to feel more trustworthy and safe
that it can begin to feel more trustworthy or safe,
to just disappear from this crazy world for a couple hours.
to just disappear from this crazy world for a couple of hours.
Let the body rest and recharge.
Let the body rest and recharge.
And just check in, see how that feels. Take a breath. Let me know if anything else is coming up around that.
Oh my gosh, that was the most powerful unraveling of this dynamic that I could have even, like, beyond what I could have even imagined. That
Wow.
hit so many key issues. I'm like, I'm always blown away